welcome to the How to Market Your Horse Business podcast. I'm so glad you're joining me here today. As you've likely guessed by now, my name is Denise Alvarez, and I get to host you here on the podcast each week. And before we dive into today's topic, I'm going to quickly introduce myself just in case we're new friends, and then we'll get started. Now, as I said, my name is Denise Alvarez. And through my business, Storm Lily Marketing, I get to help dream-chasing horse business owners like yourself to see clearly through the marketing overwhelm so you can create a clear message and cohesive plan for your social media, website, and email marketing, one that's going to turn your online audience into your customers. Now, specifically, I do that through one-on-one coaching, as well as website design, website copywriting, and then education, such as this podcast, and I have some online learning resources for you as well. I do all of these things, friends, because my heart is truly to help you as an equestrian entrepreneur be out doing what it is that you love in the equine world. And so specifically here on the podcast, you'll get a mix of step-by-step strategies, essential how-tos, and entrepreneurial mindset shifts that will help you not only see what's possible for your horse business, but I'm also here to guide you through that process so you can make it happen. And today we are diving into a mindset shift. I love this because I know how powerful it can be. I love the practical. I love to give you the essential how-tos, but I also know that when we have a really important mindset shift about something, it has the potential to impact everything else, including how you show up in your business and how you apply the how-tos that you're learning here on the podcast. And so today I want to talk to you about why your horse business is not where you want it to be. Now, before we get into the first part of that, let's talk about where you want it to be. What are the goals that you have for your horse business? Now, I know because I get the pleasure of having conversations with many of you on social media and through coaching calls that I have a mix of listeners. So some of you have a service-based business. You're a body worker. You are the horse trainer. You are I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank as soon as I try to think of those things, right? But you are serving the horse world through your services, okay? And then I know some of you are product-based businesses. We have apparel brands, we have gift and decor, we have designers going back to that service side of things. And then we have a mix. Some of you have products and services. Some of you are photographers. I love that there's such a mix of listeners, but you're all entrepreneurs and you all have specific dreams for your business. Now, when I say dreams, I'm not talking about pie in the sky, and I'm not talking about just, a cliche idea of dreaming big, which I want you to do, but not in a cliche way. But what I'm really talking about is that you have a vision for your horse business. There's a reason you started it. There's a reason you're on this adventure. Maybe for you, you're just saying, not just, quote unquote, just, saying, I'm here because I want money to pay for my horse habit. Like I've had clients that have come to me for their websites and for coaching that have said, look, I just want to make enough money to pay for my horse habit. Or some of you are building out your retirement, or you're working a side hustle. And right now that dream is for you to leave your main job so that your side hustle can be your main gig. Maybe you are wanting to build a team. You have an idea of what success looks like to you in your barn. You want to build a successful show team. Maybe you're a trainer who's saying, I want to compete at a top level. I want to show world-class horses. Or you're saying, I actually want to build an online program, an education program. I want to have a passive income stream. There's so many different things that are wrapped up in this idea of your horse business dreams. And the reality is it is personal to you. And it is imperative that before we even talk about the why it may not be happening, that you have a clear idea of what that is for you. It is very subjective, but it's very important because it's going to give you the motivation on the hard days. And it's going to remind you why you're spending time on social media, why you're investing in a website, why you're investing in coaching is because you're very connected to that why that's so personal to you. All right, so I want you first to write down, what is it you're chasing after? What is that dream that you have in mind for your horse business right now? Maybe you do it in phases. Okay, so let me just give this to you. It may be that you say, here is my 1 to 3 year dream that I'm after. This is what I want to happen in 1 to 3 years. And this is what I want to happen in 5 years. And then this is my 10-year plan, right? So if you need to break it down that way, do it. And actually, I will tell you, I have a free goal setting guide that will help you to do that. So if you're saying, Denise, I need a framework for this. I don't just take out pieces of paper and write down random things. I need you to ask me specific questions. Then go grab my free goal setting guide. It will walk you through a process to do that. And you can get it at stormlily.com/goals, or just head to today's podcast episode, which is number 151. So if you just go to stormlily.com/151, then you'll get a link to this goal setting guide in the show notes too. But I want you to be very clear on what that is that you're working towards. And then let's talk about what's maybe been keeping you stuck in that journey. What has been keeping you from taking it where you want it to be? Now, I'm not that person that's going to say, there is this one thing and this one thing only. And if you fix this one thing, it will change everything. Because that depends on your journey. But I will tell you this. What I want to share with you is there is one thing that I regularly see happening with horse business owners and equestrian entrepreneurs that keeps them from really making those dreams come true. All right. It's the reason that many of you haven't yet created a separate business account. You're still working out of your personal account. You don't even have a business account created for your horse business. It's the reason you've hesitated to invest in yourself as a business owner. It's the reason that you're afraid to say no to the people that are wrong for you. And so you say yes to everybody. And it's keeping you from believing that you can actually make these dreams happen that you just wrote down. And that one thing, friends, is that you're continuing to treat your business like it's a hobby. Now, what does that mean? Okay, I'm going to break that down for you. And this is what I mean about it being a mindset shift, because this is not, you may have created an LLC, and that is wonderful. But if you're not treating it like a business, it's still a hobby for you. Okay, that means that you're always working in the business, but you have not made the time as a business owner, as the CEO of your business, to work on your business. It means that you are not keeping track of numbers and things that really matter, because that's what a business owner does. All right, we're going to dive into some of the really practical things, but I want you to really think about, have I been treating my business like it's a hobby or like it's a business? Now, one of the ideas here too is that when you treat it like a business, you show up differently, right? You have discipline in a different way. But when you treat it like a hobby, then your mindset around the way you show up is very, very different. And what happens is that keeps you stuck in where you are. Because if you are not going to show up differently as a CEO, as a business owner, inside of your business, then you're not going to see the changes necessary to move you forward closer to those dreams. So what I want you to do, whether you're in the barn, mucking stalls, you're in your vehicle driving, or out for a ride and you have your earpods on, whatever it is, I want you to see if you can say this out loud. I am a business owner. I am an equestrian entrepreneur. Can you say that out loud and claim it and believe it? Now, I will tell you from my personal experience, I actually struggled to call myself an entrepreneur for a while, because I thought that's like, I had in my mind an idea of what an entrepreneur is, right? We have these pictures of what that means, or we have people that we admire and we think that person is a business owner. That person is an entrepreneur, but I'm just out here, doing what I do, right? But it's so different when you can shift to realizing that you, my friend, are the business owner. And that's a big deal. You're an equestrian entrepreneur. You are building a business. And so I want you to own that. Now, let's talk about some reasons that you may be saying, Denise, I don't think I can do that. Or you may be saying, all right, I said it out loud, but I still don't know that I believe it. Honestly, most of the time, it's wrapped around fear. fear of imposter syndrome, fear of people looking at you and saying, what does he or she think they're doing? Right? Or maybe the fear of putting up a front where you're like, I might present myself a business owner, but I know what's going on behind the scenes. I know I'm not disciplined in these areas. And so I'm not treating it like a business. So I don't really feel like I can say that out loud. Maybe for some of you, you're afraid to do that because you feel bad about the idea of making money doing something of what you're doing in the horse world, right? So some people really struggle to say, I'm a business owner because that means I need to charge a little bit more in order to make money as a business, in order to be profitable. I'm going to have to charge more. I'm a little bit afraid that people are going to leave. I'm a little bit afraid of what people are going to say about me. So it's easier to just fly under the radar, charge the minimum and treat it like a hobby. Not even thinking about profit or the bottom line or expenses, because that's what a business owner does. They think about profits. They think about expenses. They think about income and what that means for the long term. Or maybe you're afraid to say it out loud because you're thinking that it creates an expectation immediately of what you need to be doing if you are a business owner. But here's the reality that I want you to think about. If you don't do this, if you don't treat your business like a business, then how long will you be able to do what it is that you're doing? How long will you be able to do what it is that you love as your job, as your business, if you're not going to make profit a priority? If you're not going to really look at everything from the angle of the CEO as the business owner? What if you instead faced it that way and you said, I'm going to embrace being an equestrian entrepreneur because I'm instead afraid that if I don't, I'm going to lose this opportunity. I'm not going to be able to do what I love in the equine industry in the same way that I'm doing it now. So I want you to own that title. I want you to realize that you're the CEO of your equestrian company. And I realize that just saying it out loud doesn't really change anything on a practical sense. So we're going to dive into some practical ways that you can do this. But first, you do need to be able to say it out loud and embrace it. And then that's going to be the driver, because as you make decisions, you are going to say, I am making a decision because I am the business owner. I'm going to be disciplined to track my numbers because I am a business owner. And you're going to use that to drive you in the rest of these things that we're going to talk about. All right. Okay, so what I want to share with you, so this is the time if you want to get your notepad handy, you can, if you haven't grabbed it yet, or again, this will be on the show notes, is 3 areas that set equine business owners apart from horse hobbyists. All right, we're going to look at 3 areas where when you see a successful equine business, most likely they are treating these 3 areas on a practical sense like a business and not a hobbyist. All right. So let's dive in. Area number 1 is your operations. Now, again, this looks different depending on if your products and services, but you have an operation inside of your business. You have the day-to-day of running your business. Are you booking clients? What does that look like? Are you onboarding new clients? Do you have a system in place for that? What about tracking sales and receipts? What about customer communications? What about having a scheduling system so that people can cancel and reschedule their appointments and it's not taking up your valuable time? Do you have an easy way to get in touch with your existing clients? Do they know how to get in touch with you? Aside from just showing up in your Facebook Messenger, because the reality is we haven't even mentioned this yet, but if you treat your business like a hobby, you're also headed to burnout. And this is one of the reasons why, is because people think they have access to you 24/7, but do they have access to every business 24/7 in the real world? No. So it's okay to have some boundaries around your operations. Now, under operations as well, if you have a team, how are you doing at being a team leader? If you've got somebody that's working for you, you are their leader. So your job is not just to manage their hours, but really when you're going to embrace your role as CEO, as the equestrian entrepreneur that you are, then you're going to look at ways to develop your team. You're going to look at ways to empower them. You're going to look at ways to build a culture, like we talked about with Caitlin Christofferson a few weeks ago on the podcast. You're going to intentionally build a culture in your business surrounding this idea of operations. Now, here's another question that's a biggie. If something happened to you, is there a documented process in place that somebody else could pick up and follow? Do you have a list of current clients that somebody could come in and see who they needed to get in touch with? Do you have their contact information? What about the horses? Is that documented? What about facilities? What's the documentation that needs to happen so that if something did happen to you, somebody could come in and make sense of it all? That has to do with your operations, and that is part of being a business owner. All right. Now, of course, there's so many things to think of when you think about the day-to-day parts of running your horse business, and it will vary depending on what your specific equine business is. But the reality is there are things that you can systematize. There are things that you need to document that all fall under this idea of being an equine business owner rather than a horse hobbyist. It's going to set you apart. Can I give you a bonus on this one? When I say it's going to set you apart, that's going to bleed into your marketing, all right? Because when you treat it like a business and it sets you apart from the competition, that is going to set you up for the long term, and it's going to impact your marketing and how you show up and how your customers are referring people to you. All right, let's move into the second area. The second area that sets equine business owners apart from horse hobbyists is finances. Now, don't turn this off, all right? Stick around. This is not everybody's favorite. Now, I know that thankfully there are some people who specialize in this for horse business owners. So absolutely, this doesn't have to be that you own every part of the process of your finances and that you do everything. But it does mean that as a horse business owner, you should know your numbers. You need to have a way to create reports that will help you dive into what's most profitable in your business. And of course, you should be making a profit. My heart here on the podcast and everything that I do is to help you build a horse business that is long-term, that is sustainable. And of course, you need to be making a profit to do that. But if you don't know your numbers, then you don't know if you're making a profit. So I want you to look at each offer in your business and evaluate its profitability. Consider the lifetime value of people that come in the door. So you may have an offer that's not super profitable, but it's bringing in the right people that are then buying your other offers that are. And so that's absolutely part of the process and knowing your numbers. You can also look at what are the things that you are doing that take a lot of time, but actually aren't helping to build up your income. Maybe there are some things when you look at software that you are subscribed to, different subscriptions and things like that. Maybe it's evaluating your employees' time or a virtual assistant's time or whatever that looks like. Know your numbers, all right? That is the key. Know your numbers. Now remember, again, everything is not black and white. Yes, thankfully, data can be so helpful. But remember that ultimately you are the CEO. You get to make the decisions for your business. So sometimes it may not add up on paper, but you know the direction you're headed. That's okay. But don't make those decisions blindly, okay? Collect the data that's necessary and track the data that's necessary. Measure what's necessary so that you can make educated decisions about your horse business. That absolutely sets equine business owners apart from a horse hobbyist. Can I just throw one in there that's just going to maybe touch a few people to the core, but I think it's important to realize for horse hobbyists, what's a little bit, what's the word I'm trying to say? When I think of a horse hobbyist, honestly, it's those of you who are saying, I'm collecting money on Venmo or Cash App or whatever, but it's not tracked anywhere. And yes, I know that there are tax implications for all of those things, and I'm not speaking to that. I'm talking about your mindset, okay? Because when you have the mindset of a business owner, you're tracking things the right way because you cannot improve what you are not tracking, all right? So when you are casually taking this here left, right, and everywhere, and you're not tracking it, then you're a horse hobbyist. And I want you to be set apart. So I want you to embrace this idea of being an equine business owner. All right, moving on. The third area, friends, that are going to set you apart as an equine business owner is when you treat your business like a business when it comes to your marketing. Of course, I love marketing, so we're going to talk about that, but it's so, so important too. All right. Now, let me remind you, when I say this, I'm not telling you that you need to go spend a bunch of money on Facebook ads or print ads or whatever the case is. Okay. I'm not saying that it's required to go spend a bunch of money in order to market your business like a business and treat it like a business in that way. But instead, I want you to make the choice up front that you have a product or service that's valuable and that will help horses and their people. And so you're going to share about it in a strategic way because that is marketing. Some of the very broad definitions of marketing will tell you that is speaking to the right people about what it is that you do, right? But you need to actually be doing it if you're going to market your business. Now, this also means that you are not only going to use your personal profile, because in reality, when somebody wants to share about your business, if you have privacy settings on, then they can't go and learn more. You need a place where if somebody that loves what you do wants to refer a friend, they know where to send them. That's part of your marketing strategy. It also means that you're going to be intentional about sending out email newsletters on a regular basis. Doesn't mean it's every week, but monthly. Can you commit to monthly? Because you understand that's part of building your long-term strategy for your business. The reality is realizing that because you're a business owner, you are a marketer, period. So whether you are showing up on all the social platforms, which I don't encourage, to be honest with you, or you pick one and you show up consistently, which I do encourage, is to show up consistently, at least on one, then that's what you need to do because you are a marketer. It also means that you make the choice to find the plan that works for you, your goals, your business, and reaches your audience, and then you stick with it consistently. Marketing, I was just talking about this with a coaching client the other day. Marketing, frankly, it can touch everything because marketing is so much more than just the images on your social media, friends. It is about the message that you are sending out. When you are at an expo and you have a booth, absolutely, that's your marketing. When you're teaching at a clinic and you have a way to send them to your website and to get this free resource, that is your marketing. When you are creating a premium experience for your clients and your customers, that is marketing your business. All of these things have to do with marketing because marketing is building that awareness. Marketing is also getting the right people in the door and then turning those right people into your customers. All of that is marketing, and it's how you build a long-term sustainable horse business. But if you don't see yourself as a business, if you don't treat your business as a business, you are not going to approach your marketing from a strategic perspective. It's going to be hodgepodge. It's going to be willy-nilly. It's going to be haphazard. And strategic, just so you know, when I say that, I'm not saying you need to be posting every single day on social media. You need to be on every platform. You need to send an email once a week. You need to do all these things. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is strategic means you know who you're after, you have a clear message, you have a clear plan, and you are consistently showing up to reach them, to serve them, and yes, to sell. All right? Here's the reality. When you shift your thinking from horse hobbyist to equine business owner, you're going to get to do more of what you love to do. And in order to do it for the long haul, this is what's necessary. All right? Because if you treat this business like a hobby, then you run the risk of either burning out or reaching a point where you just can't do it anymore financially. And that is not my heart for you. My hope for you is that you will treat it like a business so that you will do the things necessary as a business owner that will allow you to continue doing what you love in the equine industry for the long term. Now, hear me. I am not saying that this is easy. Okay. I'm not saying, well, it's just so easy to get your operations in place. It's just so easy to get your finances and track your numbers and make decisions. It's easy to get strategic with your marketing. It can be simple. It doesn't have to be complicated, but simple, as you know, is not always easy. However, this is necessary. All right. It will require discipline. Absolutely. But let me remind you that you do not have to do it alone. All right. This is why I have coaching services, because equestrian entrepreneurs often do feel alone in this journey. And just having that accountability can be the difference maker. Having somebody that gets on a call with you, reminds you of the filter of your why, tracks those numbers, helping you decide what you need to track, creates that clear messaging and that plan, and then gets you the accountability that you need. Because when you know you're going to show up to that call, you're going to do your work and you're going to get on there proud that you've tracked those numbers, that you've created that consistent content, that you are getting leads from your content that are the right people. That's the fun part of coaching, and it's why it's necessary. Because as an entrepreneur, by definition, you are guiding the ship, but oftentimes you're guiding the ship that is just you, and you're wearing many hats. And I get that. And so inside of coaching, we get to really show up in a different way. You get to be honest about what's hard about entrepreneurship, but also I get to challenge you in the ways that you're thinking and show you new ways to think and explore and create so that you can continue to do what you love. So if coaching is something that you've thought, I've wondered if that's for me, but now I'm kind of interested, can I just encourage you to head to my website and look into more of it? If you go to stormlily.com/reins, you will see there about my one-on-one coaching program. It's a 6-month container. And the first 3 months, we really clarify and make a plan for your marketing and your messaging. And then the second 3 months, I am there to support you as you implement that plan and show up consistently. So again, I'll give you the details on the website if you go to stormlily.com/reins. But just remember, you're not alone. Okay, I'm here on the podcast to give you support. And if you need more customized support, then jump into coaching. I would love to help you out. But at the end of the day, can we at least agree you are no longer going to be a horse hobbyist, but you are going to embrace the fact that you are an equine business owner? It is a gift, it's an opportunity, it's a privilege, and you're going to run with it and enjoy it. All right. Thank you so much for joining me here on the podcast. I hope that you're walking away not just encouraged, but really ready to take action. I want you to walk away encouraged for sure, but I also know that the magic comes when you take action with what you have learned. Now, of course, we started with goals, so let me just remind you that I have a free goal setting guide, and you can grab that at stormlily.com/goals or on the podcast show notes. But either way, get clear on those goals and get that free guide if you've not done that before. And then can I just ask you a favor? If this episode hit home for you and you were thinking of somebody as you were listening to it, thinking, oh, he needs to hear this, or oh, she needs to hear this too, and I want to talk about it together with them, then share this episode with a friend in the equine industry. I am absolutely here to serve and help as many equestrian entrepreneurs as possible. And one of the ways that we can do that is if you will share it with the people that need it most. Thank you so much for joining me here. Continue to show up every week because I'm going to continue to bring you practical, actionable help for your horse business. Have an amazing day.